But I was just thinking about Gary Russell Jr., man. Gary Russell Jr., I used to think there was no comparison, but you know who I think is a comparison to Gary Russell Jr.? Zab Judah in his prime. I think Zab Judah was just a little slicker, um, but Gary Russell Jr. has faster hands and he's more disciplined. But their styles are real similar, and they have very similar gifts. Because if I had to go back and say, you know, faster or comparable hand speed going back through boxing, you can put Manny Pacquiao on that list. Um, but going back past Manny Pacquiao, you gotta put Zab. You gotta put Zab, man. The way Zab was beating Floyd to the punch. The only thing about Zab that was different than Gary Russell. Gary Russell throws more punches at a time. Gary Russell lets his hands go. That's the thing about Gary Russell that's dangerous. That's why they don't these niggas don't want to fight Gary Russell. I believe Devin Haney's capping. And the proof in that is, and he needed to really be careful before his narrative shifts on him. Because he's a promoter. So if it's like that, honestly, if he felt like he could beat Gary Russell, that's the next best fight he should make. I would actually leave Lomachenko alone and fight Gary Russell. You know what I'm saying? Because for two reasons. One, you get Gary Russell's scalp, now there's no questions about you. Now, I can't even make the statements that I'm making right now, which is he's an unproven contender or he's a really good prospect. Either one, whichever one you want to do, right? It's basically a simile. But I can no longer stand on that statement. I can say that's what he was at this point when I'm speaking now. But if he takes Gary Russell's scalp, that's it. Now, if he takes Gary Russell's scalp, that puts him eye to eye with Lomachenko in that one fight. People are already starving to hype that matchup up. But for those casual fans, buy into the rhetoric. But for those who really know, they know that there's no logical way, unless something happened that most people just won't foresee. No one foresees Devin Haney beating Lomachenko. Some people can say they do or support Haney or make arguments towards whatever. But when you really look at it, if that fight's ever made, you look at the Vegas odds, they're going to be in Lomachenko's favor. You know what I mean? So if you want to close that gap and you want to get more people, believing like, yo, this nigga might really give Lomachenko that work. I know there's people that believe it like you, but that's not a majority decision. That's not a majority opinion. You know what I mean? The majority of opinion believe that, yeah, Devin Haney has a chance, but really the odds are on Lomachenko beating him. You know what I'm saying? But if he wants to close that gap, take Gary Russell's scalp. You feel me? Take his scalp. You take his scalp, there's no question. He's definitely on that level. He's definitely that special. And he'll probably whoop Lomachenko's ass. Let's make the fight. You know what I'm saying? Now Lomachenko has no choice. It's like, yo, because at this point, most people could say Gary Russell's one of Lomachenko's best scalps. So now they have a common opponent that they beat, especially if Devin Haney beats Gary Russell in less than 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying? I don't see him doing what he did to Gary. I don't see him doing a worse 12-round job on Gary Russell than Lomachenko did, because I just think Lomachenko's footwork and everything, his IQ and all of that is what made the difference in that fight. And Devin Haney doesn't have that level of sophistication to his game. So can he stop him though? Yeah, I can see that happening. You know what I'm saying? Something happened, boom, 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 boom. He stop him or just beat him up real bad and whatever, right? Or it's a thrilling fight or whatever the case may be. Especially if he's able to do something like that, then there's no question. So this is why I say I think he's capping. Because if he's not capping, if he really think he could beat Gary Russell Jr., make that fight. leave Lomachenko alone. Make that fight. Another way that makes sense is because you're beating the guy who already beat Lomachenko. I mean, you're beating the guy who Lomachenko already beat. You feel me? And it's a scalp to add to your name. And you could take advantage of the fact that Gary Russell is not comfortable fighting at 135 yet. You got more fights at 135 than Gary Russell. He has none. He's never fought at that weight. So he could jump on that nigga like, yo, boom, let's make that fight. You just coming up to this weight. It's going to be an adjustment process. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I'm going to even the playing field by you may have more boxing experience, but I have more experience at this weight. You see what I'm saying? And make that fight. If you don't make that fight, then he's capping. Because Lomachenko and Lopez got business. That's not going to get put aside for Devin Haney. So if Devin Haney don't immediately shift from Lomachenko or Garcia, and Garcia, that's not going to happen. Garcia is not fighting Devin Haney because really Garcia and Devin Haney are on the same level. You know what I mean? So it'll be more detrimental to either one of those their career if they lose to each other. So that's something that both of their handlers, it's in their all of their best interest to build that fight up to a Shane Mosley De La Hoya 2020 or 21, right? So that's not happening. That fight is not realistic. Garcia is not realistic. Tank Davis is not realistic. Lomachenko is not realistic, at least not before Lopez, right? So if Devin Haney's not capping, then his next fight should be Gary Russell Jr. Because Gary Russell is starving to fight them niggas. So all Haney has to do, since he's a promoter, is pull the trigger. Word? All right. Soon as we come off lockdown, that's the fight we making. Let's do it. Gary Russell will definitely take it, right? And he take his scalp. And now it's like, yo, I beat the same nigga you beat. What's happening? Now everybody's like, ooh, like it be in the schoolyard. Ooh. Yeah. So we about to see. So that's what I'm saying. That's the danger about this whole situation, because with how the situation is turning, you have a possibility of putting yourself in a bad situation. Because now, in my opinion, if he don't fight Gary Russell after Gary Russell called him out, now we can make the argument that Devin Haney's ducking Gary Russell. Let's talk about that.